To Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jerry Springer.
Oh, thank you. Whoa. Turn down the mic. Whoa.
Calm down.
Back. Don't push to the front. Back, easy. We don't want anyone getting hurt here.
Huge crowd.
Huge.
Enthusiastic.
Unbelievable.
Yes. Well, we normally, we should tell people that normally we record these on Tuesday evenings.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's not a Tuesday.
No, tonight it's a Wednesday. A lot
Wow.
of people didn't know we'd be here Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah. But we have
Some didn't, so they bolted.
Yeah, right.
I found out, he is here on
By the way,
Wednesday.
Jerry is going to, a little bit later on, talk about Donald Trump claims that he's the great deal maker, and Jerry has some thoughts on that.
That's how he got elected.
Yep.
Yeah, I can make a
Pretty
deal.
interesting.
I'll make a deal.
We're also excited that we have Brent James and the Vintage Youth are going to
Yeah.
be performing. Woo! That's our musical group. I did want to mention something, because something that's about to happen that's very uncomfortable, has to do with corporate, and I've referenced them before.
Oh.
Before I do this, this was a little disconcerting for me. I left home tonight, as I normally do, and I had my computer case over my shoulder, Megan, and my lunch was in there.
It's a purse.
And I said
Man
to my
purse.
wife,
It's a man
Bonnie,
purse, yes.
I said to my wife, Bonnie, well, I'm off to work. And she went, that was the reaction.
That was the
I got.
correct
Yeah,
reaction.
that was the reaction I got.
Yeah.
I'm off to work.
Work.
Got a tough life there, Mr. Galvin.
Yep. You know, Jerry, I saw my brother, Jerry, his
Yes.
same name, last night, and he
Yeah.
asked me to thank you because he has been in the advertising and marketing business in the Cincinnati area, greater Cincinnati area, because he did work in Indiana,
Yeah.
Kentucky, and Ohio.
That's where I first met him.
And as a young ad man, he was your ad man for your first race in politics, which was congressional race in the
1970.
2nd District, as I
Yeah.
recall it was called, against a man named Donald Clancy, who was a very entrenched Republican incumbent. And you
Right.
took him on and you ran hard against him and scared the hell out of him, to be honest. And after that, some people went on to beat him, and you became a council member and mayor and a whole bunch of stuff.
And a TV talk show host.
And a TV talk shows and a news anchor man.
And a podcast host.
And oddly undisciplined, Megan, as a broadcaster.
Undisciplined.
Completely undisciplined.
Oddly
as a-
undisciplined. But
Not like you and I, Gene.
no, my brother said to me, reminded me,
Oh, this was fun, yeah.
that as a young ad man, he had Jerry Springer as a client for this congressional race, and he had a very big client in Cincinnati as
Local
well.
guy, yeah.
And I won't name him, but he's a pizza guy, a Pizza Hut, not the Pizza Hut, but a pizza
Yeah.
guy with lots of
Yeah.
branches.
Yeah,
And
Cincinnati
he
guy.
made a lot of money over the years, and he's still alive, and he's still making money. And after the election, like the day after the election, he found out that my brother represented Jerry Springer,
Was doing my
handled
television.
his ads,
Yeah.
and he lambasted my brother for that. Said, "Why didn't you tell me
That was your boy.
that was your boy?
Yeah.
That Jerry was your boy?" And my brother, as a result of that, lost that client. And I can tell you, Megan, he had to sell his house. He lost his BMW. He went in, not
Jerry
quite.
Springer affecting people every
Well,
day.
because the guy
Everywhere
I
he
ran
goes.
against was his best friend.
Was
You
his
left
best
that
friend.
part out. Yeah.
Yeah, was his
Yeah.
best friend. And he was, turns out the pizza guy was a staunch Republican.
Yeah.
And,
But your brother stood up to him.
no, he did. He actually did.
Yeah.
Because what he said to him, I think, was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He said, well, I'll tell you what. If you give me a list of the people who come through your door to buy your pizza and allow me to determine which one of them I approve of to come in and get a pizza from you, then I'll allow you to decide who my clients are. And my brother felt real proud of that as a 29-year-old young man to have stood up to that guy. Felt
Yeah.
really good. And at 4 o'clock, they fired him.
Sure.
Yeah,
Fired him.
he got fired.
And you can go.
Yeah.
Well, that has continued because I must say now that I'm just thinking about it, no one has ever benefited from being associated with me.
No one.
I mean, no one's career was
Taking off.
No, it's always you got to make an excuse. I mean, including my own sister.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Evelyn.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah.
Evelyn, God love her, just the greatest sister in the world, but she doesn't tell anyone I'm her brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is true. She, they live in McLean, Virginia, right outside Washington, and to be honest, they travel in a pretty...
Yeah. Husband's a doctor, very successful
and
physician.
And they live in a neighborhood where all these big muckety-mucks in politics, a lot of them Republicans.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, the Cheneys, Bork, back when he was alive. I mean, really highfalutin. And honestly, she goes to dinners and stuff like that. She put together a big, huge fundraiser for the local hospital there. And she doesn't, and, I said, well, I'll be free. I can come.
No, we're good.
And there's always an excuse. And then a couple of years ago, she admitted, these
No one even
people, they're
knows.
not going to understand. Oh, my gosh, your own brother.
Hey,
Aw.
I got over it.
that makes me think of, we have somebody on hold, and let me double check with David Pruce, our technical producer. She cannot hear us. Is that correct? You have her on mute?
Yes, she's on mute.
All right,
right
she's
now.
on mute.
Okay.
So anyway, here's the deal.
Yeah.
And this is ominous. I'm not looking forward to this, but we got to suck it up and
This
deal
is
with
What
it.
is it? Is this
She's
the...
corporate.
Oh,
Oh, come
Corporate
on.
is on the phone. No, they demanded this. If this show's going to continue, they want to give us notes, as they call it, which means they want to critique us. And I think she's going to do it one by one.
Oh,
and I'm worried
hate
that
that.
I don't know if Jerry's pulling this down, Megan, but we're going to find out. But her name is
What's her name?
Melody Gates.
Gates.
I propose to you, because I'm going to do this, and I hope you'll do this, refer to her as Ms. Gates.
Ms. Gates.
Don't like, oh, hey, Melody, how you doing? No, I think it should be
This
Ms.
is because she's corporate.
Gates. She's corporate.
You don't say hey to corporate.
I don't think
Ms.
so. I'm
Ms.
not
Gates.
going to.
No, I'll be very funny. You won't even recognize me. I'll be so polite.
And I have had some phone.
He's been in trouble before.
Yeah.
He knows how to
Hey,
handle
we
this.
did a radio show together.
We sure did.
Springer on the radio. And we had all these consultants, man, and after every show, they'd give us notes.
Oh,
It
hours.
was
Is
rough.
God's
It was
Hours
rough.
of notes. Oh
when
my
we
God.
did Springer on the Air,
Air America.
Air
Air America.
Springer on the radio.
Springer on the
Springer
radio.
The
on Air
revolution of
on
talk
Air
radio.
America. We did that for 2 years.
Yeah.
It was great fun. It was.
Yeah.
But because I'd never really done radio before, after every program, these consultants, there were about 4 or 5 if you
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
And there was this all the time.
And us 3 and Pat Berry, and then these 4 or 5. There was a meeting after every. We'd just been on the air for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was 3 hours preparation ahead of time because when you do talk radio, particularly political talk radio, you're not spinning records.
Yeah, no, it's...
You gotta, and the people that call in, they already know the subject matter. That's why they're calling in. So you got to really be well versed. I mean, there is serious homework for doing political radio. So that's 6 hours of work. And then when the show was over, I had to go to this meeting and be berated for an hour. And then
Hey,
after
brought
the
in Panera,
meeting,
usually.
after the meeting, I had to go to work because I have this other job.
Yeah, that's right.
You can catch it every day at 11.
It was a Jerry, sit up. Jerry, do this. Sit down.
Oh, and I was the body language you made.
Oh,
fun
it's
of it.
wonderful.
I would
That was
just
great.
start.
I mean, I
grinning.
loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a blast.
Jerry, you
All right,
say,
let's bring
to me.
on
Yeah.
Ms. Melody Gates.
Yeah.
And everybody get your
Ms.
game face
Gates.
on.
Okay.
Everybody take a breath.
Serious, clear your throat.
Deep breath, everybody.
Nitwits. We'll be fine.
Hi, Ms. Gates.
Yes, hello. How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you.
Hi, Miss Gates.
Hi, Miss Gates.
Hi.
Miss Gates,
I did catch a fair amount of that.
You what?
you heard some of that?
David.
Yeah, to me it sounds like Jerry's pretty lazy.
Oh.
God.
Well, this is starting
See,
out well.
Broadcast discipline.
I need to tell you, this is Bob Wallace. I do an impersonation of Jerry Springer. Jerry, come on in here.
Jerry Springer. Hey.
Give it up for Hi, everybody. Okay. Oh,
All right,
that
Miss-
guy does a good me, I must
He
say.
does. He's a
Yeah.
good you.
Hi, Ms. Wallace.
Miss Gates.
Hi.
This is why we can't do radio.
Miss Gates, This is Gene Galvin. I produce the show, and I am one who has said to you, and I continue to say to you, I think that corporate is what is keeping us alive, and I think that we should shape the show in the image that you prefer. So I'm very compliant, and just think of me as a compliant
Gene,
one.
You got a little something right there.
So I understood from an email from you that you wanted to give me some notes, or give, I think, Megan first some notes, and then me, and then
Why do I have
Jerry.
to go first?
But anyway, we're ready. So go ahead. What do you have to say about Megan Hills?
Hi, Miss Gates.
Great. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's going to depend on how this conversation
good.
goes.
The conversation will go fine. Generally speaking, you're for podcasting for what we're looking for. Your voice has smile in it. You're knowledgeable, you're glib, and you're engaging. Sometimes you give in a little too much and laugh a little too much, especially at Jerry, but generally speaking, Jene and Jerry would do well to follow your lead.
Well, thank you. Okay, I'm good. I'm going to go home now.
Okay, very good. You did very well. Yeah, she does a great job. We love having
I won't
her.
laugh at his jokes anymore, I promise.
Yeah, well, nice talking to you, Miss Gates.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Oh.
I'm not done.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
we're running late.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you guys chatted a whole bunch at the top there. Remember,
did.
I was listening. So,
You did.
way to waste the time.
All right.
Gene, you need the most work.
You need the.
Truth be told, until further notice, we'd actually prefer that you limit yourself to 25 words for each show's segment. So, just a total of 75 words per podcast.
75 words?
That's
75 words. We really think that would actually stop you from talking.
Gosh.
So, I wouldn't actually keep speaking because gosh counts against you. So now really 74 words are left for the day.
Okay.
And no, now 73. And if you go over the 75 count, we may have to consider not giving you food during the post-show dinner as punishment.
Miss Gates, we're having a bit of a technical issue.
Gene, we've got.
We're going to put you on hold here for a minute. Dave, can you put her on hold?
Yes.
Is it muted?
She's muted now.
Is it muted?
Okay.
I think Gene's out of words. I think we're done.
I think that's an accurate statement, and I still have some notes for Jerry.
Oh, well, that's okay. I get the gist. But no kidding, you've been great. Thanks so much for...
Since we are corporate, we do have a right to continue our notes.
You absolutely do, and I'm certainly on your side.
Thank you. Jerry, congratulations. You are the franchise. We are, despite no one benefiting from working with you, we are still hopeful. We would like to give you free reign, but the caveat, we do expect you, for the sake of expanding our audience, that you take the next 6 months to publicly support Donald Trump and the Republican Party during these episodes. So anytime that you say that Trump is correct or Trump is right on that, you should be given... Sorry?
I'm sorry. You want me to say nice things about Donald Trump for the next 6 months?
He can't do that for the next 6 seconds, dear. That's not going to happen.
There's no way I'm going to reach 75 words.
Well, that's okay. Quite frankly, amongst all of you, maybe Megan can just talk for all of you because we like her.
Yeah.
I like you too. Thank you, Melody.
You're welcome.
Oh,
But here's the good news. Anytime you do say something nice about Donald Trump, you will be given a prize, like a vacation or, a wardrobe update.
He doesn't need
the
prizes. Gene needs the prizes.
I think
the amount of money I get
Everyone
on this
needs-
show, I don't need any more prizes. This is... Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that, honestly, that may be difficult for me to do. I mean, you don't want me lying, do you?
why not?
Well,
Oh, that's right. That's right. Lying is in. What am I thinking?
I know.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Cher. You're better than that.
Well,
So I mean,
Today.
the cost will come out of the podcast budget, so it will impact the show.
Oh.
But we really feel that expanding the audience is the best thing.
Okay, well, those are
I
pretty
see.
good notes
Yeah.
for me.
yeah. All right.
Anything
And
else, Ms. Gates?
We wanted to see if we could get 10 tickets to your TV show for the corporate office staff.
You want
on our
tickets
field
to
trip.
the TV show?
That always happens.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
at the end. Well, I could see what I could do, but oh gosh, the people there aren't going to say anything nice about Trump, though. What are you going to do at the show?
Well, it's a different show, so
Oh, okay,
that's
on that
okay.
show. I
Different
get you.
standards.
Well, we would love to have you at the show.
All right.
Terrific.
Thank you.
you.
Chicago is
Thank you,
visiting.
Melody Gates. Thank you very much.
Ms. Gates.
Ms.
Thank you,
Gates.
Remember, Gene, no more talking. You're done for the night.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Oh my!
How about that?
I would have to give
Cold.
up. I would have to give up the podcast. I
Yeah, you
didn't want
would.
to
That
tell
was
her.
cold. That's a little. When I was in college, I studied behaviorism, but to take food away from me at the end of the night, that's like what you do to a dog. You know, like you don't give them food.
Well,
if they
Jane.
bite.
'Cause they-
Well, I think that's very helpful stuff, and I really think we should do that. I'm not going to talk nearly as much. And
If there was a
hey, you know,
meter that would say,
speaking.
you are done. You have 4 words left.
Here they are. Well,
Can't help himself. Can you do American Sign Language? One word sounds like
Trump.
go.
Not allowed to talk about him. Oh. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, we got to change it. Yeah, what I thought I'd talk about a little bit tonight is that whether you were for him or against him during the campaign, it was clear that he ran on the notion of being the deal maker. I mean, no one, even his great supporters, weren't saying that this guy is really knowledgeable, he knows politics, nobody was claiming that. They liked the idea that he was an outsider and he could make deals. And he could, because the country was terribly divided, he would be a guy to bring everyone together, he said. And he could make deals, and that was it. That was his calling card. And of course, now, yesterday, based on the day that we're recording this, yesterday, once again, we saw the example of him having absolutely no ability of making a deal in politics. Because making a deal in real estate is really just a question of money. If you have the land that someone wants to buy, you just then try to get as much as you can. You hire some lawyers, and, that's not a great skill. If it's a valuable piece of property, you'll probably get a lot of money. If it's not a valuable piece of property, who wants it? And to say, wow, can I make deals? Duh. In politics, though, or in government, what he has found out is that literally everyone he deals with in politics knows more than he does. I mean, even if he was the nicest person in the world, every senator that comes in, every congressman that comes in, every cabinet official that comes in, everybody knows more about the subject matter, whatever's going on. Every world leader, they all know more than Trump. So the reason he's not able to make deals is because when he brings them all in the room, they're all rolling their eyes. Because there's nothing he's going to say that's going to be persuasive. Trying to put together a health insurance plan for the country that is 1/5 of the budget. He doesn't know anything about this. So it's comical. They sit there, he gives his talk, they nod his head, they go around the cabinet room, and every one of them says what a great honor it is working for him. But he doesn't know anything about the substance. You never, ever, ever hear him talking about the details or the substance of any legislation. He doesn't know anything about it. So, of course, he can't make deals. Let me tell you about a deal maker. It starts out with John Kennedy. On June 11th, 1963, those of us old enough to remember, And I vividly remember on a black and white television set, John Kennedy that evening got all the networks, there were only 3 networks, to cover a speech to the nation. And the speech to the nation on June 11th, 1963, was that it is time for America to pass a Civil Rights Act. That it's been, since we had the constitutional amendment, doing away with slavery, giving African Americans the right to vote and all that, since the Brown decision, Brown versus Board of Education in 1954, that you can't have segregated schools anymore, and to get rid of that with all deliberate speed, nothing much was happening. We still had a horribly segregated South, with pictures on television of Bull Connors and local sheriffs with fire hoses blasting away at little children who just wanted to go to school, batting them over the heads with their batons. The whole country saw that. And John Kennedy, who frankly wasn't quick to it when he first got elected, was worried about it because he was worried that he wasn't going to be elected in 1960, and he needed the South, which is why he picked Lyndon Johnson to be his running mate, figuring Lyndon Johnson from Texas could help carry the South. And you know how close the election was that Kennedy won. So he wasn't quick to come over to the side of civil rights. But on June 11th, 63, he addressed the nation and said, if America is to mean what it says, if we are to be the country of equal opportunity where all men are created equal, it is time for us, for Congress and the Senate, to pass our first major Civil Rights Act. 5 months later, he was assassinated. Lyndon Johnson, in his first speech to the Congress, along with Kennedy's brother Bobby, who was the Attorney General at the time, those two didn't like each other. But the one thing they agreed on was that the legacy of John Kennedy would be that they would push through the Civil Rights Act, which became the Civil Rights Act of 1964. But how, after all these years of opposition, was America suddenly going to pass a Civil Rights Act? And the Civil Rights Act said it was outlawed to discriminate against any citizen based on race, religion, ethnic group, country of origin, or sex. It was now against the law. And that meant it applied to states could not discriminate in terms of registering voters. They could not have a special test for African Americans who wanted to register to vote, the literacy test. It meant that you would have, you wouldn't be able to discriminate in public accommodations. You couldn't say, this theater is only for whites, this restaurant only for whites. Blacks have to sit up in the balcony. All the stuff that we had in this country, of disgraceful stuff we had in terms of prejudice, discrimination, segregation, this was going to be outlawed. Now, how was the Senate going to pass this? Back then, the Senate had what we call the seniority system, which meant that the chairman of every committee, of all the important committees that would deal with these issues, would be chosen based on seniority. So those who were in the Senate the longest would get to be the chairman of these committees. And if a committee chairman doesn't want legislation to come out of the committee, the whole Senate never gets to vote on it. Well, because the South, since Reconstruction, was solidly always Democratic, they became Democrats, conservative Democrats, because they were angry at Lincoln and, you know, and winning the Civil War. They were upset about that, so all the white Southerners became Democrats as opposition to the Lincoln, who fought against slavery, etc. So the South was solidly Democrat. Now that meant that Democratic senators were in office forever. No one could ever beat a Democratic senator. And since they could never be beaten and they were in forever, they became they reached the top in terms of seniority. So all the major committees in the United States Senate were headed by Southern segregationist senators. And of course, it was unthinkable if you're from Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, or whatever, voting for a civil rights legislation. You're gonna not let them kids go to school with my kids, all that kind of stuff. That was really America at the time. So here, how are they going to pass that? Here comes Lyndon Johnson, a senator from Texas who grew up in this environment. And I'm here to tell you, had it not been for afterwards the Vietnam War and how Johnson got all screwed up with that, he would today be considered one of our greatest presidents. This was a deal maker. How in the world? He just knew how to take one senator at a time and got these Southern senators. I'll make you this deal, I'll make you that deal, but you're going to go and you're going to vote for this Civil Rights Act. And he would say to some of them, look, you know what's happening. We got television now. You know time's not on our side. You know the population is greater in the North than it is in the South. Eventually we're going to have this. It's better if you go with me now. I'm a Southerner. Back me, and I'll pass legislation, and it won't be the worst thing that's going to happen if one day you're going to have a Northern president again and see what happens then. So whatever he was telling him, one by one, and miraculously, this Southern president from Texas, Lyndon Baines Johnson, he was the one that was able to make the deal that gave America its most important legislation since the New Deal, since Social Security and Medicare and all those things that followed. That was a deal maker, Lyndon Johnson. Now, how was he able to do this? He had such knowledge. He knew every intricacy of how you pass a bill, what particular senators needed, how he could negotiate. He had knowledge. So when you went into a room, when you went into the Oval Office and it was you, the senator, with Lyndon Johnson, who was physically imposing, and he talked to you about, well, I think you can come and see my way on this piece of legislation here. You're a good old boy. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Well, the senator knew that the president knew more about all of this stuff than he did. He was smarter, more knowledgeable than regular senators. That's how you become a great deal maker, not by putting up buildings around the country and putting your name on it. These senators today, I got to tell you, they have no respect for Trump. They know he's popular in certain areas, but they don't go for knowledge. They roll their eyes. You see the interviews on the networks when these senators are coming out of meetings. They are grasping for something not inflammatory to say. Well, the president said he'd like to see us work things out, and yeah, we're gonna. Well, did he really get? Well, that's not his style. He's not your traditional. They're making all kinds of excuses, and so this is something I thought I'd never say. I know how Trump could be reelected and go down in history as a somewhat historic figure. I can tell you this because I know he's not going to listen to me, but if I were the advisor to Donald Trump, in light of what happened today with the health bill by the Republicans again falling apart with only 17% of the country in favor of it, here's what Donald Trump should do. Remember, Donald Trump has no political philosophy. He just doesn't, and lots of people don't. I'm not saying that, I think it's a negative if you're going to be in politics, but just for a regular citizen, it's not anything he ever thought about. He doesn't read books on politics. He doesn't read books. He doesn't know any of this stuff. So here's what he could do. What he said at various times during the election, during the campaign, yeah, I think everyone should have health insurance. Yeah, not denying people health insurance because of a pre-existing condition, that's a good idea too. And by gosh, if I'm president, you're going to have the lowest premiums ever. He said all of that. Of course, the Republicans were going, oh, God, don't say stuff like that. We're opposed to that. But anyway, he said it. Why doesn't Trump do this? The Republicans failed. Why doesn't Trump, if I'm Donald Trump, I bring in the Democratic leadership as well as the Republican leadership into the office at the same time and say, I'm going to leave this room and when we're done with this meeting, and I'm going to announce to the country that I want a health insurance bill that guarantees all citizens health insurance, will provide subsidies for those that can't afford it, and no one will be denied health insurance because of a pre-existing condition. Look at what happens immediately. All the Democrats say, hell yeah, right? That's 48 Senate votes. We only need 3 more. The moderate Republicans who are in favor of that, at least 3 of them, 5, 10 of them, they're going to join up. The bill gets passed. Some Republicans will hate that, the philosophical ones. But if you're Trump, who cares? His base isn't going to leave him. And the reason the base doesn't leave is because the base isn't with him because of issues. They just give him hell Trump. And frankly, why are they going to be angry if they suddenly have health insurance? So in 2020, that's not going to hurt them. They'll still be with him. And a lot of moderates will now say, well, by God, he may be a fool, but he got through. He made the deal that had to be made. And just like Lyndon Johnson, Johnson was willing to sacrifice his political career for the moral justice of a Civil Rights Act. Because he said very famously, once that the night that bill passed in the Senate, Lyndon Johnson's quote was, well, there goes the South. And since 1964, even when Johnson ran on his own in 64 after the Kennedy assassination, when he won in a landslide, he lost all the southern states. The South never again, after 64, never again voted for a Democrat. So he did lose the South, and that was his last term as president. Would Trump do that? I don't know. But I don't know that he would get defeated for doing this. And he can go down as saying, you know what? I even went against my party when it was morally the right thing to do. You and I know that he's not really thinking that. But that is a way he could get reelected. So if I was his advisor, I'd say, surprise everybody. Just do that. You gave the Republicans 2 chances to come up with a plan that didn't work. You yourself said it was mean. Do this. Make the deal. I hope he's not listening.
All right. Okay, so we have a very, very excited to have these guys with us tonight. If you want to come on up here. We have with us this evening Brent James and the Vintage Youth. Let's give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we've got Brent, Charles, Nick, and Ricky, correct? Is that everybody? Anybody I'm missing?
That's the whole crew.
That's the whole crew. Well, great. So you guys come to us from where? You're from Cincinnati?
Yeah, Cincinnati based, yep.
Yep.
I moved here from New York City about 6 years ago.
Cool. And how long have you guys been playing together?
Maybe 4 or 5 years.
What brought you together?
A buddy, a guy that's from here. Cincinnati,
Very
musician.
cool.
Yeah, good old Dell. Yeah.
Very, very
Were
cool.
you guys in prison together? That's where I know you're from.
All right. Well, why don't you play a song for us? We've got some questions and stuff for you, and
Alright,
can't wait to
cool.
hear you.
Yeah, this is a song. It's called "Until the Sun Sets." Down the highway, brush her hair and look in the mirror. She kissed her tongue and smacked her gum when she's got something big to say. And
little bit of a different sound for us, a little more poppy, a little bit more. I really like it. So, who are you guys' influences? What did you come up listening to?
Tom Waits. I'm a huge
Yeah.
Tom Waits fan.
Gotta
Stones,
have Zeppelin.
Yeah. All the old stuff. That,
Yeah.
You know.
What do you mean old?
The good stuff.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
Just the good stuff.
Perry Como.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord. You're so old.
Find a wheel and it goes round and
We apologize. We're so sorry for him. So are you guys all from Cincinnati? You're from New York originally.
I grew up in Michigan, moved to New York City after I graduated high school and pursued music out there, toured up and down the East Coast and everywhere else. And then my wife got a job here and I signed a deal in Nashville, publishing deal, PMG.
Wonderful.
And she got, she's a publicist, so she got a job here in Cincinnati. And
Awesome.
a mutual friend introduced me to these boys. And
You guys are all whoop whoop. Love it.
I don't even know this man.
I grew up in
we don't know who he is.
Verona.
grew up in Verona, Kentucky.
That's
lived
fine.
in Walton, Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm out there in Union, man. Right out there. That's great. Well, you got another song for us?
Yes.
All
this
right.
one is called Cardinals.
Excellent. Let's hear
And
it.
this was born in our small 300 square foot New York City apartment.
Sweet.
in Manhattan.
Yeah. 46 and less.
Queens, Austin Street.
Yeah. All right. You said you loved me, took me to the fire, and we held hands, walked away. You wanted more for much less. And now I'm resting, sleeping alone. Well, I'm not trying to tell you I need love, but I need love. But it's in the way. And I'm not trying to tell you that I stand alone, but I stand alone every day. Standing in the window, smoking your cigarettes, no regrets, none at all. Cardinals land on broken leaves, and you don't even think of me. I'm working oh so damn hard. Well, I'm not trying to tell you I need love, but I need love, but it's in the way. And I'm not trying to tell you that I stand alone, but I stand alone every day. Oh, my love is never gone. Oh, it's just hard to find. Oh, my love is never gone. Oh, it's just hard to find. I'm not trying to tell you I need love, but I need love. It's hidden away. And I'm not trying to tell you that I stand alone, but I stand alone every day. No, I'm not trying to tell you I need love, but I need love, but it's in the way. And I'm not trying to tell you that I stand alone, but I stand alone each and every day.
Wow.
Hell yeah. That was awesome. It is. It's such a different sound for us on the show, which I really love it. So where can we find more of your music? What's that?
He said it's normally much louder.
Is it? You're holding back?
Yes, holding back for you.
I would
Small
say
room.
keep up with us. Instagram's a good spot.
Instagram, and what's your
We
Insta?
just ride around on the bus and post pictures.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Is that Brett James Music then on
Yeah,
Instagram?
Brent James Music, or just if you put in Brent James, and all these boys are on there. too.
Yeah, and you're on the Facebooks
Yeah,
and all that fun stuff.
Facebook, Twitter, all that good
Awesome.
stuff.
Well,
So,
great. Well,
yeah.
if I were a betting woman, I'd say we're probably going to hear you again. So I think we may have you back for another show. So,
She is a betting woman.
so would you do us a huge favor and take us out on?
Yes.
What are we singing outside? I almost said
Down
Goodnight
by the
Irene. Oh
riverside.
my gosh. I almost said Irene Goodnight. Down by the river. Take it away.
Yeah, try to keep up, guys. Down by the riverside, I said. Down by the riverside, I said. Down by the riverside, I'm gonna lay down my burdens. Down by the riverside, gonna study war no more. I ain't 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 gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Down by the riverside, I said. Down by the riverside, I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Y'all come back now, you hear?